Welcome to the X's and O podcast show, hosted by yours truly, Hayward. Week 4, Tennessee Titans 26, Philadelphia Eagles 23. Words can't explain how, when I was watching that game yesterday, how disappointing I was with my Philadelphia Eagles. I know the whole Philadelphia Eagles nation is feeling that blow yesterday. But we have to stop taking teams lightly as a fan base and start to see that it's going to be a battle every game until the Philadelphia Eagle players realize that it's no taking no time off. There's no easy games inside the NFL. I understand we coming off a championship year, but that was last year. We have to put that nonsense behind us. We got to stop saying that games are going to be easy, because the games that we won last year, a lot of them wasn't easy. We actually was in a lot of dog fights last year. So what makes you think that it's going to be easy this year? It's just a lot more pressure on the players. So let's dive into this week 4 game that slipped away from us in overtime. Okay, let's dive into some of the points that I posted on the Facebook page last Wednesday. Point 1 was staying focused, playing collectively as a unit. I gave the team a C. Point 2, keeping Carson Wentz upright, eliminating sacks. Carson not holding on to the ball. The receivers getting separation on routes and getting involved in the game plan, I gave a D. Outside Alshon Jeffrey yesterday, the receiver corps was not effective yesterday. That's why I gave him such a low score. Point 3, eliminating the mental mistakes and penalties. I gave the team a D. We had crucial penalties yesterday. Crucial mental mistakes. Players not knowing where they're supposed to be. It's 4th down. Be where you're supposed to do. Make the stop. Why would you let somebody get behind you to pick up a crucial 4th down play? Point 4, getting back to smash mouth defensive line play and offensive line play that teams feared last year. We didn't do that this game. Marcus Mariota shredded our defensive line and shredded our secondary. Offensive line gave up too many sacks. Carson Wentz got hit entirely too much yesterday. And they deserve probably an E. We have to start being honest that our eyes are seeing a team that's not focused on playing winning football. Point 5, balanced game plan, offensive line and defense, setting a tone at the start to the finish. We didn't do that yesterday. So I gave a D. Point 6 was Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz creating a good game plan to attack the Titans. A D. Game plan for the offense. 50 passes plus yesterday. I think we was under 15 carries probably as a team. I understand that the Tennessee Titans defense can stop the run, but the times we did run the ball, we was averaging over 5 yards a carry. So why wouldn't you try to gas the defense and make them stop the run until they show you that they can close the door, stopping the run? But once again, we got back into that Chip era, Kelly's era of football, passing the ball 50 times a game. This got to stop. We have to play balance. If we don't play balance, if we don't control the clock, we don't win the game. And we're going to see a lot of more ugly football games, just like we seen yesterday. Point 7, defensive line creating turnovers and offense benefiting from the turnover scoring and controlling the clock. I gave a D. Sorry to give us such a low scoring this week, but from what I seen yesterday, I can't give them no high grades. These 7 points, if followed correctly, they could have won the game yesterday. Lot of mental mistakes. Okay, let's dive into the stats this week. Passing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, 33 for 50 for 348 yards. He averaged 7 yards per attempt, 2 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 4 sacks for 33 yards. He had a QB rating 99.4. Tennessee Titan, Marcus Mariota, 30 for 43, 344 yards, 8.0 average, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 INT, sacked 3 times for 17 yards. He had a 99.4 quarterback rating. Rushing, Jay Ajayi, 15 carries for 70 yards, 4.7 average, 0 touchdown, longest run 15 yards. Wendell Smallwood, 5 carries, 39 yards, 7.8 average, 0 touchdowns, 15 yards longest. Carson Wentz, 2 carries, 8 yards, 4.0, 0 touchdowns, 6 yards was his longest carry. The team rushed the ball for 22 times for 117 yards, 5.3 average, 0 touchdowns, 15 yards was the longest rush. Tennessee rushing, Marcus Mariota, 10 rushes for 46 yards, 4.6 yards average, 1 rushing touchdown, 17 yards his longest pickup on the ground. Derrick Henry, 8 carries, 24 yards, 3.0 average, 0 touchdown, 14 yards was his longest. Dion Lewis, 4 carries, 0 yards, 0.0 average, 0 touchdown, longest 2 yards. Tennessee ran the ball 22 times for 70 yards, 3.2 average, 1 rushing touchdown, 17 yards was the longest. See, this is what I meant if the Eagles would have balanced this game, if they would have ran the ball and put a lot of pressure on this Tennessee Titans defense. See, controlling the clock wins football games. When you don't control the clock, you tend to put the ball up in the air too much. And when you put the ball up in the air too much, you play games into the fourth quarter that you should have teams put away by then. There's no way in the world why this game went to overtime yesterday. I thought that Doug Peterson, fourth quarter, go down for the field goal. I don't even think he was confident enough to call plays to throw the ball to the end zone. That's how bad our wide receiver core is. We have to fix the problem. Problems got to be addressed. On that defensive line, that offensive line, the cornerbacks. Only thing that's playing well is the linebackers, but they're being exposed because the bad play in the secondary. We got players looking into you got Corey Graham. Instead of playing coverage, he got caught a couple of times looking inside the backfield. You are a veteran safety. You know the do's and don'ts. You got Jalen Mills taking bad penalties and once again playing too far off players, which players with just a little bit of speed can blow right past him because he don't have the speed to keep up with them. He 8 yards off. He 8 to 10 yards off, and most receivers in the NFL got that speed to run past him. Maybe we need to go to press coverage a little bit more. Or maybe the Eagles, Jim Schwartz is scared that Jalen Mills might get beat off the line of scrimmage. But this one safety in the middle of the field, we got to stop that. We definitely got to stop that. We need both of those safeties back there. Until we get our coverage fixed, Jim Schwartz, we need to get out of that one safety back there inside just covering, because once that one safety make that mistake, our defense gets exposed bad. All right, let's go down to receiving. Zach Ertz, 10 receptions, 112 yards, 11.2 average, 0 touchdown, 24 was his longest, and 14 targets. Alshon Jeffries, 8 receptions, 105 yards, 13.1 average, 1 touchdown, 31 yards was his longest, 9 targets. Jordan Matthews, 1 reception, 56 yards, 56.0 average, 1 touchdown, 56 was his longest, and 3 targets. Nelson Aguilar, 5 receptions, 22 yards, 4.4, 0 touchdown, 10 yards was his longest, and 12 targets. Nelson. We need you to pick it up. We need you to get back into that beast you were last year. They have to put him back inside the slot so he can feel comfortable, or get him involved early inside the game. Script some plays for Nelson Aguilar to put some pressure on the defense so they can loosen up that defense, so the running backs can have lanes. But let's get back into some smash mouth football. Stop coming out firing the ball so much. I personally don't want to see that. I want to see them run the ball. Yesterday, they was in a key situation to run the ball. Jay Ajayi could have had more. He could have had 100 yards on the ground easily yesterday. Tennessee, their defensive line is not that stronger unit. But you let them key off on Carson Wentz by putting the ball in the air 50 times. That's bad coaching, Doug Peterson. Think about what I'm saying. We seen all the mistakes that the teams made yesterday. And it was kind of embarrassing that we couldn't make no halftime adjustments. I don't see no adjustments being made this year. Okay. Wendell Smallwood, 3 receptions, 15 yards, 5.0 average. 11 yards was his longest, and 5 targets. Kamar Aiken, 1 reception, 14 yards, 14.0 average, 0 touchdown, 14 was his longest, 1 target. Dallas Goedert, 2 receptions, 13 yards, 6.5 average, 0 touchdown, 10 yards was his longest, 2 targets. Jay Ajayi, 3 receptions, 11 yards, 3.7, 12 yards was his longest, and 4 targets. 33 receptions for 348 yards, 10.5 average, 2 touchdowns, 56 was the longest, and 50 targets. Tennessee receiving. Corey Davis, 9 receptions, 161 yards, 17.9 average, 1 touchdown. First career touchdown against the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. 51 yards was his longest. Once again, that 51 yards came at the expense of Corey Graham, looking into the backfield, not playing home. Phil like he was supposed to be the center fielder. He was just, I don't know what he was thinking. He made a lot of key mistakes yesterday, and if he can't play that safety position, they need to take him and sit him down, switch Jalen Mills to the safety, but they have to do something because it was a lot of bad football he played yesterday. 15 targets Corey Davis had yesterday. I must say this probably his best game by far. I wanted this guy to be drafted by the Eagles, but unfortunately we didn't see that he was the receiver that he is. Maybe because he had too many injuries in college football, but this guy is going to start to come on and turn it around. Took him a couple of years to get used to the NFL, like most young receivers, but he's starting to turn around. Taywan Teller, 7 receptions, 77 yards, 11.0 average, 0 touchdown, 19 was his longest, 9 targets. Dion Lewis, 9 receptions, 66 yards, 7.3 average, 0 touchdown, 17 yards was his longest, 9 targets. Tajay Sharp, 2 receptions, 27 yards, 13.5, 1 touchdown, 16 yards was his longest, 3 targets. Derrick Henry, 2 receptions, 7 yards, 3.5 average, 0 touchdowns, 13 was his longest, 2 targets. Darius Jennings, 1 reception, 6 yards, 6.0 average, 6 was his longest, and 2.0 average, 0 touchdowns. Janu Smith, 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0.0 average, 0 touchdowns, 0 long, 2 targets. Tennessee as a team were 30 for 344 yards, 11.5 average, 2 touchdowns, 51 was the longest, and 40 targets. Fumbles. Carson Wentz, 1 fumble, 1 loss. Alshon Jeffrey, 1 fumble, 0 loss. Nelson Aguilar, 1 fumble, 0 loss. 3 total fumbles, 1 loss. Tennessee Titans, Marcus Mariota, 1 fumble, 0 losses. Derek Morgan, 0 fumbles, 0 losses, 1 reception. As a team, they had 0 loss fumbles. I thought that this defense was going to apply a lot more pressure than they did against Marcus Mariota yesterday. Let's get down to Philadelphia Eagles defense. Tackles. Corey Graham, a total of 9 tackles, 8 solos, 0 sacks. Ronald Darby, 8 total, 8 solo, 0 sacks. Jordan Hicks, 7 total, 6 solo, 0 sacks. Malcolm Jenkins, 7 total, 5 solo, 0 sacks. Nigel Bradham, 5 total, 3 solo, 1 sack. I'm sorry. 0 sacks for Nigel Bradham. Halilate Nata, 4 total, 3 solo, 1 sack. Brandon Graham, 4 total, 2 solo, 0 sacks. Derek Barnett, my man, 3 total, 2 solo, 1 sack. Camus Gruton Hill, 3 total, 2 solo, 0 sacks. Sidney Jones, 3 total, 2 solo, 0 sacks. Fletcher Cox, 2 total, 2 solo, 0 sacks. Michael Bennett, 1 total, 1 solo, 1 sack. The Eagles were, as a team, 61 total tackles, 49 solos, 3 sacks. Dive into the Tennessee Titans defense. Kevin Byard, 11 total, 9 solos, 0 sacks. Malcolm Butler, 10 total, 9 solo, 1 sack. Jayon Brown, 10 total, 6 solo, 1 sack. Logan Ryan, 5 total, 4 solo, 0 sacks. Jarrell Casey, 5 total, 3 solo, 0 sacks. Harold Landry, 4 total, 3 solo, 1 sack. Kendrick Lewis, 3 total, 3 solos, 0 sacks. Adoree Jackson, 3 total, 3 solos, 0 sacks. Brian Orapo, 3 total, 2 solos, 0 sacks. Will Compton, 3 total, 2 solo, 0 sack. Rashid Evans, 3 total, 1 solo, 0 sacks. Sharif Finch, 2 total, 2 solo, 1 sack. Benny Logan, 2 total, 1 solo, 0 sacks. Daquan Jones, 2 total, 1 solo, 0 sacks. Kenny Vaccaro, 2 total, 0 sacks, 0 solo. Brent Kearns, 1 total, 1 solo, 0 sacks. Wesley Williard, 1 total, 1 solo. Taywan Teller, 1 total, 1 solo. Avant Maddox, 1 interception, 23-yard return. Tennessee Titans had no interceptions yesterday. Okay, punt return. DeAndre Carter, 2 total, 42 yards, 21.0 average. 42 was his longest. 0 touchdown. Nick Williams, 2 total, 8 yards, 4.0 average. 8 was his longest, 0 touchdowns. Kicking game. Jake Elliott was 3 for 3 on his field goals, longest 37 yards, 2 for 2 on extra points. He had a total of 11 points. Tennessee kicker Ryan Succop, 2 field goals. He was 2 for 2. 42 yards was his longest. 2 extra points. He had 8 total points yesterday. Punting, Cameron Johnson, 6 punts for 308 yards, 51.3 average. 2 in the 20. 68 yards was his longest. Brent Kearns, 5 for 254 yards, 50.8 was his average. 2 inside the 20 and 58 yards was his longest. Well, we got to get it together. We failed to execute yesterday during crucial times. The offense stalled. Receivers weren't getting open. We didn't run the ball enough. We didn't control the clock. Coaches didn't make the proper adjustments. Players didn't step up like I thought they were going to step up. Wide receivers got to find them holes, got to find a way to get open. Bad balance on play calling. both on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said, them fourth down conversions were killers for us yesterday. You know, I felt as though the defense got to play a whole lot better for this next game. This next game is going to be a big game, a crucial game, and we have to step up. That's all, that's pretty much all that I can say, that we have to step up, because next week we got a big test. Next week, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Next week, we have to have a game plan to attack this team. If not, we're going to be 2-3. If the coaching staff can't find a way to stop this team, stop their running game, we're going to be in trouble. I just hope that we can pick it up, get back to playing Philadelphia Eagles smash mouth football, playing aggressive, playing mistake-free football, playing as a collective unit. Somebody has to step up and make the plays. Carson Wentz can't take too many more of those hits. He can't take too many more of defenders running free and knocking them down to the ground. The offensive line has to, in the next couple of days, say, look, we're going to keep our quarterback clean, upright in the pocket. We got to focus on Philadelphia Eagles football. At 2-2, we lucky to be 2-2. It's week 4, and this team has pretty much played like they should be a last place team. But by the grace of God, we are 2-2. We got 12 more games to go. One game at a time. As a fan base, we don't need to point fingers. We need to rally behind our players. Like I said, this is not all Jalen Mills' fault. There's other people that's a part of the equation, but Jalen Mills have to step his gameplay up and get back to playing similar football that he played last year. Jim Schwartz, we got to get aggressive. You blitzed yesterday a little bit, but your players showed their hand. And a good quarterback like Marcus Mariota, if you show him your hand, he's crafty enough to read the blitz, and he was just audibling off yesterday. And he put his team in the right position to make key plays to move the chains and put the ball in the end zone. Like I said, I was disappointed at our gameplay yesterday. I thought that our game plan should have been a whole lot better. But we can't cry. We just got to move on to the next game. Against the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins. Hopefully, we can contain Kirk Cousins. But giving up these amount of yards inside that we given up over the last couple of weeks, making a Tennessee Titan football team who has trouble moving the ball down the field through the air, making Marcus Mariota look like he was a world-class quarterback yesterday. Even though I like Marcus Mariota, if you pressure him, he will make mistakes. This is week 4. We need to put the first 4 weeks behind us. We need to gain identity again. The injury bug is pretty much tearing this team up. The officiating ain't helping us. It just seems like the Eagles are the most penalized team in the league, and that the mistakes is costing us games. The injury bugs, it's like we can't stay healthy. We got veteran players that got to reach deep inside and say, look, we got to turn this around before it's too late. One team, Bird Nation. We got to take this one game at a time. And our team, we have to rally around our team. If not, we're going to be one and done. Hopefully, how we can make some moves, but we are cash strapped. Only way that we can add some talent or trade for somebody, we have to give up some things. And the way Michael Bennett playing and Brandon Graham, they are 2 assets, and right now they're not given enough productivity that teams can be calling the Eagles, knocking down at the Eagles' door about acquiring one of these guys. See, if we get that cash off the books, and then maybe we can go out and we can sign a Dez Bryant, or we can trade Pittsburgh for Le'Veon Bell. But we only $5 million up on the books, and we can't do too much of anything. A lot of people saying, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. We can't do too much because next year Carson Wentz is in a contract year. And he's going to demand $140, $160 million. So we got to look for the future. We got to draft better. We got to sign the right free agents. We got to trade for the right players. This year, we can turn it around. It's not too late. It's just for the players to have to believe in themselves and get it done on the field. Minnesota got some weapons. And we have to shut those weapons down next week. We can't let Cook get to this to our secondary, because if you let him get to the secondary, he can take it to the house. So, defensive line, offensive line, quarterbacking, coaching, secondary, linebacker, special teams. We need a complete game this week. This is a reality check. Last week should have been a reality check to the Philadelphia Eagles in that locker room. The veterans should be gathering and talking to these guys in a collective like, look, let's not let this slip away from us. It's still early. And like I said, we should not be 2-2. So with that being said, like I said, Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. And it's a lot of things going on inside this country. You know, a lot of touchy situations. You know, as a man, I know what the word no means. You know, as a man, I have to respect the rights of women. You know, as a man, as a minority, I definitely know that it's a line that I can't cross. Last week, we had probably as a country one of the most stressful weeks that played out on TV with Judge Kavanaugh and the accusations that he you know touched inappropriately touched women and restrained them. And last week I looked at the Republicans and I looked at the Democrats, and I seen that the process should have been stopped. An investigation should have been done, even though it's probably too late down the line for an investigation to be done. But let's not put people rights or say that people are not incredible, because that could have been one of our daughters. You know, I looked at some of those senators up there on that panel, and it's about politics. None of this stuff is about the best interests of the United States of America and its citizens. Everything is about political parties now. None of those guys seem to have morals, characters, but none of them don't look in the mirror or go home and have a conversation with their daughters about something that's very serious. In high schools, college campus, women are being violated. And we got to honor and respect them. Just because a person don't go and, report a rape, it's a touchy situation. Women deal with being violated. There's been men that's been violated that haven't went to the authorities about it, because society make you feel like it's as though you are weak and vulnerable because you let something happen to you. But they didn't let nothing happen to them. They were violated. So with that being said, America got to get off of this double standard. You can't have it one way, but try to make it fit to your way. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't know whether or not this man did it or not. But the way he came out cocky and aggressive, I think that he handled that the wrong way. He pretty much made himself look like a monster. Open your eyes. Open your eyes, people. We can't take rape, sexual assault lightly. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for this country. Lord, I thank you for the leadership. Lord, I pray for this leadership. I pray that this leadership do the right thing and help the people of this country. Not to make victims feel as though it was they fault. Not to put political gain just to prove a point. I pray for Judge Kavanaugh. I pray for the female victim. I pray for Congress and Senate. I pray for the President of the United States. I pray for the Republicans just as well as the Democrats to make good, sound decisions. Help the people. This shouldn't be about your party. This should be a test to find the truth. I pray for the citizens of this country. I pray for our military. I pray for our law enforcement. I pray for our firefighters. I pray for our first responders. I pray for the people of One Team Bird Nation Group. I pray for their families. I pray for their finances. I pray for their health. Lord, I thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Jesus, for dying on the cross for me. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Thank y'all. Like I said, it's getting rough out here. And if we as the people don't take control over our country and hold our leadership to high standards, this country is just going to keep going on a downward spiral. You know, some of these guys, these senators and congressmen, need to get out here and vote. We need fresh blood up there with new ideals that's about the people. Right now, the people are suffering. Right now, the people are hurting inside this country. Right now, jobs are scarce, money is tight. They keep telling us about this economy, whether it's with a Republican or a Democrat. This economy is not growing. These trades wars that we in, that's all that does is stunt the growth of the country. You know, we've been sold on this ideal that building a wall is going to make this country safe. Hey, if El Chapo can build a tunnel under a prison, what makes you think that these drug cartels don't already got major tunnels going into the United States? Look, you gotta know common sense. That's all it's about, common sense. If you don't educate yourself and start doing the research, these congressmen, these senators, this president, these political parties just going to keep on pulling the wool over your eyes. Everything is about big business in the United States. When is it going to be about the people? The preamble say, we the people. When is it going to be about the people? Why do we need rich people telling the people, the working class, what's best for them? We know what's best for us. Fair wages, medical insurance, and spending equality time with our families. So I just thought that I end the show off with that. Week 4, disappointment. But as long as I got God, it's always wonderful just to wake up, see my family, tell them how much I love them. So with that being said, thank you for listening to the X's and O podcast show featuring your boy Hayward. Oh yeah, I put my logo in the background now because I really like it, but it's just stretched out a little bit. So thank y'all for tuning in this week, and I'm looking forward to week 5 show. So hopefully the Eagles will be flying high against these Minnesota Vikings. 425 here at the link. Let's get back to Eagles football. Fly, Eagles, fly. Good night.